Hi, welcome back to Give It a Try. We're here for another story from my dad, and being that it's the end of deer season, he has one about his very first deer. So come inside with me and let's listen to his adventure. Hi, we just came in to hear the great story of my dad's his very first deer. And I'll just let you know deer season is over and nobody got a deer. So we're needing of a great story. So Dad, first of all, I want to ask, when you got your first deer, do you remember how old you were?
Well, I think possibly I was probably 18, maybe 19. It was quite a while before I finally drew blood.
So you're 18 years old when this adventure had happened.
Yes, I was.
All right, well, I can't wait to hear this story. Go ahead, Dad, take it away.
Well, here we are again. I'm very happy to join you people. But I want to tell you about this story of my first deer. I hadn't been very successful up to this point, and it all started on the opening day of deer season. And my brother and father and I went out in the morning. I can't remember exactly where we went, but we didn't see anything, and we decided to come in around 11 o'clock. And well, they had to go to work. Well, I went out on my own, and I had a 1952 powder blue convertible Ford, and that I know how to operate. Well, so I went out, and went up to Glen Haven. I think maybe some of you people have heard of that. And I was coming down the hill, and I looked ahead, and there was 4 or 5 deer that ran just above the road. And of course, I was very enthused that I hadn't seen anything in the morning, and there was some deer. So I pulled over to the side of the road, and I went up in there. I didn't know what I expected to see, and I got up there about 60 yards, and it was kind of brushy, and I turned, and all of a sudden, about 35 yards, this string of deer came walking by. They didn't seem to see me there, and I raised my gun, and I waited. And of course, you could only shoot bucks at that time. And the first shoe there were does, and then all of a sudden, here comes this buck. And I mean, it wasn't very big, and it was not a trophy. But to me, it looked like a trophy because it had horns. Well, I had an Ithaca 37 that held 5 shots, and I shot 5 times, just hardly aiming, I guess. I was like a Rambo or something. And the deer went down. And I had, with one lucky shot, had grazed him across his back, and he went down. So I went over, and I saw, and I had to dispatch him, of which I did. And now I reached into my pocket to find that I did not have a knife to gut him out. Well, so then I said, well, since it's downhill and only a short distance down to the car, I dragged him down there, which was easy drag, and the deer was small. And I got down there, and brought him to the back end of the car, and I looked in the glove compartment, and something like for a blade or something like that. And I opened the trunk, and gee, I looked there, and the only thing I could see was I had about 6 beer bottles. And I thought, well, boy, I bet I could break the neck off and get a blade, and maybe I could have something so I could cut him open. Well, while I'm doing this, I look, and right off to my right there was a dog came up. I mean, a dog, I call him a mutt. He had about 9-inch legs, like a dachshund, but he wasn't. He had long, shaggy brown hair and floppy ears, and he was there, and he was snorting around. but I didn't pay any much attention to him because I was involved in my deer. Well, needless to say, I did get to gut the deer out, and I pulled its entrance out and threw him to the side. And but I did have a rope, so I went and draped him over the fender. That's what everybody did then. And back then, is they draped him over the fender, came in with him like a trophy. Well, I got him all lashed on, and I went back to get my liver and heart. And when I did, there was the dog, and he was on it. And when I went to reach for it, he reared back and he snarled and he showed his teeth. And immediately I said to myself, if he wants that bad, he said he can have it. And I got in my car and I came down and came back to court with my trophy, which was a little 3-point. And that was my episode of the first deer I ever shot with the dog that wanted my liver and heart more than I did.
Well,
See you again soon.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining our station again, Dad. And I guess what was really impressive is that you were able to be like a survivalist of some sort to break open up a bottle and use it as a knife. I mean, you are very clever, I will say, and very much into adventures. Well, again, thank you again for joining us, and we can't wait for the next one.